It's my newest poem. It's called To Whom Can I Tell My Grief? It's inspired by a short story by Anton Chekhov called Grief. I'm using some music from the web called Cold. To whom can I tell my grief? In my mind, sometimes I see him again, standing in the cold, feeding his horse, with his handsome cab stored away. Chekhov's driver is there, with steam rising from both he and his mare. Steam from the heat of the mare's work, steam from the driver's heartfelt words. Their night was long, lonely, silent, and cold. He had been surrounded by his passengers, but none would listen to his story. The night had begun with tragic news of his son. He had to tell someone, but no one would hear him. No one would listen and hear that he had lost his only son. They would only say where to drive to and then go back to their celebration. The night went on way too long, made longer by his unspoken grief. At the end, it was just his handsome cab, his horse and him. So once again, I see the image of him sharing his story, his grief. His horse listened well, was fed, and seemed to understand the driver's tears. Anton's story, Grief, is a story of many who cannot or will not share their grief. Much grief is unspoken because few are willing to take the time to listen. With whom can I share my grief? With whom can you share your grief? Find someone to share your grief with. Find someone to share your grief with.